Call is now being recorded.
Welcome to the V2V podcast with Shorts and Aurelius, episode number 13.
Dun, 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 13.
Hey there.
Hey now.
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 So, I guess there's no housekeeping. Housekeeping?
Consuela.
We don't really do that. Like recaps of the previous show.
No.
No, because that would provide continuity.
Yeah, we don't like that. We're anti-continuity.
True. Speaking of a regular feature, dun dun dun.
Dun, dun,
Charlie
dun.
Sheen update.
Charlie Sheen update. Winning, Charlie Sheen. Alright, so what do we got this time? Going on?
Alright. So there are actually 3 separate updates.
Holy moly.
Yeah, we took a little time off from looking into Charlie, and stuff happened. So the first update involves Australia. As you may recall, he's been booked for an Australian speaking tour this fall to talk about his life, I guess.
To talk about winning?
I'm sure there'll be a lot of winning and the like. But Charlie's confused.
Oh dear.
He's confused about Australian football. And he's begging for locals to explain the game as he prepares to tour down under. So this is the first time he's ever spoken in Australia, but there are some cultural differences that he needs to grapple with when he arrives. And he just doesn't understand Australian football.
Right.
So he's begging people to explain it to him. He's very confused. I don't really know much about Australian football myself. Do you?
I know it's incredibly confusing. I've watched it a few times and I don't know what the fuck is going on. But they really like it down there. And it's their sport. No one else plays it. So, it's exclusive to there.
Right. He wants it explained in person, and I can't do that, and you can't do that.
No.
Do we know anybody who understands Australian rules football?
Yeah, listen. Listen. Okay,
Jamone!
So listen. Shh, Charlie. He's my friend. Look, listen. So, the first rule is you get the ball, and you get a shrimp on the barbie, and then you get some Sheilas, and you go down to Nimbin, and you smoke a doobie, or a Billy. And that's the way you play Australian rules football. Give me some milk.
Thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Jamone popped in to add his analysis of Australian rules football. If we have any, I know we do have Australian listeners. I'm aware of that. So perhaps this could be clarified in the comment section, or anybody who understands. We can pass along this information to Charlie if we get some good responses.
Absolutely. I mean, we have the access to Sheen.
We do have the access to Sheen. Or not Sheen. Either way.
Not
So
Sheen.
We know it's not Sheen. From all records indicate that it's not Sheen.
It's not Sheen.
I don't think so.
Okay, so what else we got?
Okay, so part 2 of the Charlie Sheen update is that as we know from previous updates, he had been attempting to sell his house in Beverly Hills for $9,999,999.
Winning.
Now this account says it's $10 million, but we know that's not true.
Yeah.
So what he did is he slashed $800K off the price of his 7-bed Beverly Hills home, complete with 2 swimming pools. I didn't realize that. 2 pools.
Yeah.
5 months after putting it on the market. So he's been trying to sell his house for a while. And no dice.
Why would you need 2 pools? Why would anyone need 2 pools? What, I mean, I get it if you, have a guest house that has its own, separate area that's like a fucking regular house, next to your mansion for your guests so that they don't swim in your pool. But why exactly would you need 2 pools?
That's a good question. I mean, the house is 7 bedroom, 7 bathroom. And, I mean, I think 1 pool would accommodate 7 to 10 people. I mean, when you got 3 people in each pool?
Maybe you need a pool for fucking and doing dirty stuff in and making gross, and the floating condom or the dead floating hookers in there,
True.
the bodies.
True.
And then you have your other one for your wife and your kids, keep them clean.
Well, you could use both, but it would take some time to clean the dead hookers out. That's a lot of muriatic acid to have to put into the pool.
Yeah.
To make sure it's, once again, pristine. So maybe they just take turns, hookers and Charlie in the pool. Oh, hooker died. Go to the other pool now. And then 2 weeks later, you go back to the original pool and just kind of, so you always have a clean pool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's important to have a clean pool. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, and we still have that wonderful artist rendering of the home.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I only see one pool here.
Right.
Makes me wonder where the other pool is.
Yeah, but you wouldn't want your dead hooker pool next to your other pool, It wouldn't,
that's true.
That wouldn't be kosher,
No, cross-contamination is a serious thing.
Yeah.
So, so he's trying to sell his house still. And apparently he's still trying to rent it as well for $43,000 a month. Ooh, there's a picture of the front of the house this time. That's lovely.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, and interiors too. Oh, I know what's going up on the channel. All of the house.
Oh.
Yes. Oh, man.
Everybody's going to see your house, Charlie.
Okay. So maybe we can also not just help him with football, Australian football, but we can kind of serve as brokers, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
To get the word out about his house. I think that would be a good service that we could provide free of charge, by the way.
We are in the business of helping, not Sheen, and it's important.
Right. Very, very important. So part 3 of the Charlie Sheen update involves a story that goes way back.
Yeah?
Well, unless Jamone has something to say about the house before we move on.
No, I want this next story. I think I can relate.
I think you probably can, Jamone. So the next story involves Charlie in Italy in the 90s. And he tells a story regarding him being in a makeup chair, getting a wardrobe fitting for the Three Musketeers, one of Charlie Sheen's classics. And he woke up surprised because he was in an apartment about 200 miles away from the city. This is important, Jamone. With no jewelry, no wallet, no ID, with nothing. He woke up with nothing. And he still doesn't know what happened.
Yes.
So, what do you think happened?
It's natural.
So you missed 7 hours.
Yeah.
You understand? I mean, that doesn't seem normal.
Sounds fantastic. Man, I gotta get some of that shit. Fuck! Where the fuck is room with that shit? I want some Sheen.
There was also a woman in the room, but she didn't speak English.
Oh! Is that a Billie Jean? Or is that a, Liberian girl?
Could be.
You know that you changed my world, just like in the movies. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. I love you, Liberian girl. Nakatia, Twinbuck away. Okay.
There was a lot of miming to bridge the communication gap. Kind of like what might be going on now with you, Jamone. It was a doozy.
Yeah, doozy.
It was a doozy.
Doozy in a doozy. In a doozy. In a doozy, doozy. Doozy, doozy. Doozy, doozy. Yeah. I had one of those.
We still don't know. We don't know.
Yeah. Well,
he doesn't know.
Look, listen, when I was on my European tour, and I landed in Crete, I don't remember traveling, for about 4 or 5 months, and then I woke up and I was on stage in London. But apparently I gave incredible shows all the way along. And that was a doozy.
Sounds like a doozy.
It's natural.
Charlie Sheen update.
Charlie Sheen update.
Thanks, Jamone, for clearing that up. Yeah, he's a big help.
Yeah, he helps out.
You're a great asset to the show, Jamone. I can't wait to see your documentary.
Oh, thank you.
We're working on it.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's a good story. It's worth telling. Yeah, I think he's awesome.
Yeah, he really adds a lot of insight to what we're doing here.
So, are we going to do some Sunday school Bible studies?
Yeah, I figured that we should start a new segment, kind of the Shorts and Aurelius Bible study. I don't know if that's what it should be called, but right now it's called the Shorts and Aurelius Bible study.
Okay.
After all this talk of not being continuous or having reoccurring themes, we're totally blowing that out of the water today. I mean, we did the update. Now we're doing apparently we're starting another ongoing segment.
We are rather hypocritical though, and we say things a lot before we start doing things. But that's the nature of the artist, because it flows.
That's true. Recently we have now 4 dislikes on our channel.
God, that's a miracle.
I think it's really great.
Fantastic.
We were hanging out with zero dislikes for literally 2.5 months, and all of a sudden 4 dislikes. Yes,
it's perfect. It's winning. It's everything I've ever wanted.
It's everything I've ever wanted.
Mm.
So, yeah, I figured we'd start at the beginning of the Bible, which would be the book of Genesis.
Okay.
I mean, right?
Yeah.
And I think we have time to do Genesis and Exodus today.
Okay.
So, just a few items of interest I found in my Bible adventure. And there are really many interesting passages along with a bunch of boring genealogy, which we'll skip. So,
Aww.
yeah. So,
genealogy got me hooked, man. That genealogy, it's really interesting. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh well, to kind of start off, in an apparent endorsement of astrology, God places the sun, moon, and the stars in the firmament so that they can be used for, quote, signs. This, of course, is exactly what astrologers do. They read the signs in the zodiac in an effort to predict what will happen on Earth. Genesis chapter 1, verse 14. So right off the bat, like, we're getting into some pretty heavy business with God putting stars in the sky to help provide signs for people. So who says that astrology isn't biblical?
Right.
And I don't know if there's any commentary that needs to be said on that, but going on, God curses the serpent. From now on, the serpent will crawl on his belly and eat dust. But one wonders, how did the serpent get around before? By hopping on his tail, perhaps?
Maybe.
But snakes don't eat dust, do they?
Not that I'm aware of.
Genesis chapter 3, verse 14. This is, we're real biblical scholars now.
Yeah.
I think that we're doing this. Like, I think we're qualified.
Absolutely.
So, moving on, there's a lovely verse. Quote, and Cain knew his wife, unquote.
Okay.
That's nice, but where the hell did she come from?
Yeah, but he knew her. I mean, it's kind of nice to know your wife. Like, I'm a fan of that.
It's kind of hard to bring the context out of the word "knew" unless you're like going back to the ancient Greek, which we're not.
No.
The common use of the word "knew" just means that you know somebody. But if you put it in italics, you knew her in the quote biblical sense. There you go. That's a different situation. Right. And Cain boned his wife. Like, that could be.
Yeah.
But again, where did she come from?
Well, you know.
You're talking about genealogy. You got Adam.
So all these people, right. That's not any of those people. And she didn't come from any of those people.
Steve was a minor character anyway.
I just like how it sort of begins, but without the actual beginning. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like it's like Star Wars. You know, you start off with Luke, and then you sort of learn everything about the past, but you don't with the Bible. It's like Star Wars if you only knew about Luke, and then that was the end.
Right, that wouldn't make a very compelling story.
No.
God was angry because the earth was filled with violence.
Mm-hmm.
So we killed every living thing to make the world less violent. Genesis chapter 6, verse 11 to 13.
Eye for an eye, you know.
So that relates to the story of the flood and Noah.
Yeah.
But that makes sense, right? I mean, hey, Earth. Hey, this is God here. You're so violent. You're so. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kill everything to make the world less violent.
Yeah.
Capiche? You know, like, hey,
stop being violent, or I'll give you something to cry about.
To be violent and naked. Genesis chapter 9, verse 20 to 21. We don't want to. That's really like private. So.
Yeah.
We'd rather not dive into too much of Noah the drunken naked, although that did happen. This was after the flood, you know, when everything was cool. He's just like, fuck it. I'm going to get drunk and take my clothes off.
Mm.
So we get to, we're just clipping along here. We get to Sodom and Gomorrah at this point. And there are two angels that visit Lot. And they wash their feet, eat, and are sexually irresistible to the Sodomites.
Yeah.
Genesis chapter 19, verse 1 to 5. And then right after that, Lot offers his daughters to a crowd of angel rapers, saying, hey, angel rapers, don't rape two angels. Instead, rape my daughters. And what happened was, the angel rapers were like, no, we want the angel. Genesis chapter 19, verse 8. So, as we move on, we find out that Lot, he lied about his daughters being virgins in chapter 19, verse 8. But it was a just and righteous lie intended to make his daughters more attractive to the sex-crazed mob. So it's cool.
Were his daughters not virgins? Were they not virgins? Yeah, but were they not virgins because he fucked them? Like, I feel like there's a lot of weird shit going on here. And there aren't a lot of people, and so weird shit's happening. Shit's getting weird in here.
Definitely. I mean, when two angels show up in town, and you invite them in, and you wash their feet, and you give them something to eat, and all of a sudden there's a crowd of mad angel rapers at the door. That's weird. Is it weirder to say? Is it weirder than to lie and say, "Hey, I got two virgin daughters"? Not really. Like, here, take them, and then the mob says, "Oh, you know what? No,
they're not virgins. We just tried them out. They didn't bleed. Okay, we want the angels. Give us the angels. We want that angel tang. That angel tang, because it's pure. We need them to be virgins if we're going to mob them." This sounds really weird to me.
It is really weird, and a lot of people might think this is really like profane or even blasphemous or like horrible. But what we're reading here, we're kind of looking at these elements of the Bible are what, all of these so-called Judeo-Christian values are apparently based on. So I think we're in the clear. I think we're in the clear on this one. Genesis chapter 22, verse 16. God swears to himself. What? Jamone, can you explain that?
Yeah, fuck. Oh,
thank you.
Fuck.
That's perhaps that's all that needs to be said.
Yes. Thank you, Jamone.
Yeah, very, very well done. So we're moving on to Jacob And Jacob is tricked by Laban, the father of Rachel and Leah, his daughters.
Yeah.
Right. Jacob asks for Rachel so that he can go in unto her. It's a great phrase.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Jacob asks for Rachel so he can go in unto her. This
Rachel.
sounds like I could still type this into Pornhub and get a great result.
Right. It doesn't indicate like which hole, so to speak,
right.
that he wanted to go in unto her into. But Laban gives him Leah instead, and Jacob went in unto her, Leah, by mistake.
The feminism in all of this is really killing me, man. It's just killing me. We need to get some men in here.
Right. Well, I think they're coming. Not yet.
What up in? Are they coming up into her though? Are they coming up into her? That's the most important part. No, never mind. Sorry. Go ahead.
No. You're asking important questions. So Jacob was fooled until morning. Apparently, he didn't know who he was going in unto.
Wow. I've had that happen before.
Yeah, those nights that we don't talk about.
Yeah.
College experimentation.
I blame theater class.
I blame too. So this is exciting. So finally, everybody worked things out, and Jacob got to go on into Rachel too.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
So it's all good. All right.
Melrose Place.
That was taken directly from Genesis chapter 29, verses 21 through 30. So these references are important because people, they might say, "Oh, my Shorts and Aurelius, you're full of shit. Like, get out of here, shut it down.
Yeah,
we're not going to take it." But now people can go and look for themselves.
Yes.
So
we're
again, I think
we're not altering anything. We are keeping things the way they were, sticking to the words.
We're just, providing some commentary on, from a modern perspective.
Yes.
Because you have to put things into context, and we live in the modern world, and this is a very ancient, true story, by the way.
Yeah, and I just want to say that when they went up into each other, or when he went up into those two girls, they hadn't ever washed themselves because they didn't have toilet paper back then, and they didn't have baths and soaps. So I just want to explain to you the absolute heinousness that went on here. And that, as biblical as you wanted to get, things were really bad back then for humans.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
Us folks who have smelt clean pussy, we don't know the terrors of this.
No, not by a long shot. Even the grimiest, bum on the street has no idea.
Yes.
So Jacob's story continues. So Jacob wrestles with God and wins. And then God
hold on.
Jacob's go ahead.
He wrestles with God and wins. Okay, hold on. Ding, ding, ding. And now, coming to the Takatron, Hulk Hogan versus Jacob. Oh, and Jacob's got him in the Boston Crab. And now it's the half Nelson. And 1, 2, 3. Jacob won.
Ding, ding, ding,
okay.
ding, ding. He wins. And so, I don't know
champion.
Because he wins, or just as an aside, or God changes Jacob's name to Israel to signify that he wrestled with God and prevailed.
I see.
Genesis chapter 32, verses 24 to 30.
So it's Israel. They were fighting for the Israel championship belt, and Jacob won. Cool. Gotcha.
But all isn't fair in love and war and name changes, because shortly after that, like immediately, God gets, he's a sore loser, let's just say. So unable to beat Jacob in a fair fight, God dislocates Jacob's leg. Genesis 32, chapter 25. So
I'm just seeing, like, this is the wrestling thing, and, like, these promos that they do, and, like, okay, so Jacob's now doing, like, a promo, standing with Mean Gene, who's all sweaty, and he's, interviewing him, and he goes, so you beat Hulk Hogan, huh? And you beat him, you beat the god of wrestling, huh? Yeah, that's right, Mean Gene. And then in from behind comes God with a chair to dislocate Jacob's leg.
Yes. Exactly.
But now the match has to begin. Ding, ding, ding.
Right, but then moving on, see, this is in sequence. So Jacob wrestles with God and wins. God changes his name, and because he changed his name because he won. You're like, good job. You have a new name, Israel.
Yeah.
But then right after that, he gets pissed and dislocates his leg.
Yeah.
And then God begs Jacob to let him go. But Jacob says, not unless you bless me. So God blessed Jacob, and Jacob let God go. Genesis 32, verses 20 to 29.
Why is God such a fucking pussy?
It really doesn't make a lot of sense. Like,
this
he
makes
wins,
no sense.
He gets the title. Then God.
How does God, the architect, like, lose? I mean, this is like Hulk Hogan showing up to WrestleMania, picking up Andre the Giant, and Andre falling on him and pinning him. And that's the end of the whole legacy of Hulk Hogan. He breaks his back and fucking falls and gets pinned.
Right, and then he's getting pinned. While he's getting pinned, he's like, no, let me go. And you don't know, I'm not letting you go until you tell me I'm the greatest. So, you're the greatest. Okay,
in
all
theory,
right,
though,
yes.
In theory, anyone who faces down with God could just bring up Jacob. Say, well, you know, Jacob.
Yeah, like he won apparently with a dislocated leg.
It's incredible.
It's really
beyond amazing. Wow.
So, wow. All right, and then one more Genesis chapter. So the quote is we're talking about Judah. Now, Judah, he does something. He washes his garments in wine. His eyes shall be red with wine. That's the biblical quote. So my question is did Judah really wash his clothes in wine? And were his eyes bloodshot from drinking too much? Or is this the prophecy of Jesus? I didn't know Jesus had a drinking problem. Why would you wash your clothes in wine?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Anyway.
I mean, if you're that drunk, you might. Like, I'm drunk, I'm going to wash my clothes in wine. Genesis chapter 49, verse 11 to 12. Yeah. That's a weird book.
Weird book.
And that's pretty much all of it. We skipped a lot of the genealogy stuff, but I really want to keep going on to the book of Exodus. I'm having a good time with it.
I'm good, but if you want to, we can.
Oh, this is
just
the best.
Because. Okay, let's do that.
Like,
then.
It's way better. Like.
Okay, cool. I like WrestleMania too.
So Exodus is when the Israelites escaped the Egyptian captivity.
Yeah.
Where they hit the desert, right? I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting the fuck out of there.
Mm-hmm.
So as we began, we learned that the Israelite population went from 70 or 75 people to several million in a few hundred years. That comes from a series of chapters. Chapter 1, verses 5 and 7. Chapter 12, verse 37, and chapter 38, verse 26. They make reference to such a very low population of Israelites. I mean, I didn't realize that there were that few, but then just in a few decades, there are, a million, several million.
So they found something that got them really fucking horny. And they got up onto each other. They got up onto each other, yeah.
And they went into each other too.
They got up
onto each other, and then they went up into each other. I think that's the right sequence.
No, and they know each other. They know each other.
And they knew each other very well. So maybe it had something to do with God, who disguised himself as a burning bush. He had a long heart-to-heart talk with Moses.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's chapter 3, verse 4, and chapter 4, verse 17.
Mm-hmm.
And who hasn't had a talk with a burning bush?
Right.
I'd like to talk with Lindsay Lohan's burning bush.
Do you think Lucille Ball had a burning bush?
I would imagine so.
Yeah.
I try not to imagine Lucille Ball, her bush in any sense.
Yeah.
So.
No.
Apparently she had a lovely garden. So as we
Lucy, let me talk to your burning bush, Lucy. I got some explaining to do to it.
I got some explaining to do to your bush.
Yeah.
Oh. So as we move on, God decides to kill Moses because his son had not yet been circumcised. Luckily for Moses, his Egyptian wife Zipporah took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son and cast it at his feet and said, "Surely a bloody husband art thou to me." So he, God, let him go.
This is really painful. Dick hurting.
It is, but I think this story shows the importance of penises to God and his hatred of foreskins. Is really kind of what the point of it is. God finds penis is very important, but get that extra skin out of you, or I'm going to kill you.
Okay, well, as someone with this extra skin, I can tell you it has feelings. And, somewhere in that desert, there's this skin just lying there with feelings, waiting to reconnect.
There's no reconnection.
There could be.
It could be. That's Exodus chapter 4, verses 24 to 26.
Yeah.
So as we go through Exodus, we hear God say that Abraham didn't know that his name was Jehovah. Hey, God's like, "Hey, Abraham, you don't even know that my name is Jehovah yet." Back in Genesis chapter 22, verse 14, Abraham names the place where he nearly kills Isaac after God's name, Jehovah. So, wait a minute. Is God lying to Abraham now? Like, it's like, no, look, back in the last book, and name the place after you, God. Exodus chapter 6, verse 3. That makes me a little upset that God would just pretend like, oh, you don't even know what my name is. Where he's like, look, this whole place is named after you. That's bad. That makes me a little upset.
Yeah, well, I named my kid Paris. And, I named her Paris because, this is the place. And then, my son's name's Blanket. Jamone. Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm glad I can clear it up for you.
All right, Jamone, everybody. Well, God tells Moses and Aaron that when Pharaoh asks for a miracle, just throw your rod down and it will become a serpent. So when the time comes, it's like, all right, ready? Moses throws down his rod and it becomes a serpent. But the Egyptian magicians, they duplicate this trick. Luckily for Aaron, his snake swallows their snake. God damn, that was close. Exodus chapter 7, verse 9 through 13. After the serpent trick, God tells Moses and Aaron to smite the river and turn it to blood. This is the first of the famous 10 plagues of Egypt. Unfortunately, the magicians know this trick too, and they do so with their enchantments. Like they can turn it and they can do the blood trick too. So just how the river could be turned into blood by the Egyptian sorcerers after it had been turned to blood by Moses and Aaron is not explained. Like, see, the river's already blood. Like, oh, we made it blood too. No, that's our blood now.
I'm losing my focus, but okay, it's bloody. Maybe it's from
bloody.
all the dick pain. Maybe people shouldn't cut off their dick-feeling skin with a rock.
It could be a bunch of foreskins floating around in the river, and
that's probably exactly what happened. And they're like, if they're expecting to keep their race kind of, or their sort of like religion, or their culture like breeding, they shouldn't fuck with their dicks, man. Their dicks should remain whole. Particularly with rocks.
Right. Just a sharp stone, like, brutal. So the second plague, these are all very famous and exciting. The second plague was frogs, right? Frogs covered the land. They were all over the beds and they filled the ovens even. But the Egyptian magicians they did this trick too. And now there's a question, kind of like the blood. Did they wait until the frogs cleared out from the last performance before doing it again? But I don't know. After the frog making contest was declared a draw, all the frogs died, and they gathered them together upon heaps and heaps, and the land stank. I bet. But at least it was all for the greater glory of God. Dead frogs everywhere.
Of course. All for the glory of God.
So this is quite a slog. So plague 3 is lice. I can't do it. All the cattle die. God kills the cattle again after they've already been killed. Locusts, darkness. The Passover, smear the blood on the door. God divided the sea with a blast of his nostrils. I guess that's the parting of the Red Sea. He just like snorted at the water. By the way, that's Exodus chapter 15, verse 8. God divided the sea with a blast of his nostrils.
Of his nostrils. The flare from his nostrils. There was a booger there, too. And that crashed a hole.
It took the Israelites 40 years to travel from Egypt to Canaan, but that trip, even at that time, would have taken no more than 10 days. God stands on a rock and tells Moses to hit the rock. Then water comes out of it for the people to drink. That's pretty clever.
He probably was peeing on the rock, and they all got thirsty and came around to drink his pee.
Right. God has feet. We learned that God has feet.
Okay.
Exodus chapter 24, verse 10. Wash up or die. This is a good verse to use when reminding the kiddies to wash their hands before supper.
Yeah.
If you're not clean, you die.
Yeah, Ruben, wash up or die. I'm gonna fucking kill you. If my room ain't fucking clean. If you are not clean, if these dishes, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Wash up or die, bitch.
Mr. Reaction, please don't do it, Mr. Reaction.
What? What is this fucking toy doing on the floor?
Mr. Reaction, please, Mr. Reaction.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Wash up or die. And lastly...
That sounds like a great name for a band. Wash up or die. With their new hit album, Nostril Flare.
Yeah, I kind of lost interest a bit, but that was good. But I guess the last chapter and verse of Exodus that I even care to mention is that Moses goes without food or water for 40 days and 40 nights. Exodus chapter 34, verse 28. He must have been really, really fucked up at that point. I mean,
I don't know. Marty did it. Marty did it for 91 days.
That's true.
And
no water too?
Yeah, well, he cut water halfway through, I think. Yeah.
Wow.
Fucking nuts, dude. He did 30 days at least without water, Marty, I think. I'm pretty certain.
That's a lot.
Or he got, or like maybe 15, I can't remember. Yeah.
Well, still, that's quite a feat.
Yes.
I'm sure he had God on his side as well. So.
Of course. And a nostril flare. And, all that, yeah.
And bloody foreskins at my feet.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's the Bible right there. That is really actually the first 2 annotated books of the Bible that a lot of people love and believe. And it makes me wonder if people are reading this, because it occurs to me that they're not. They're not. They don't. Maybe we've taught some people some things, perhaps not, probably not, but we did give the chapter and verse so people can go check it out for themselves and not take our insane word for it. So, speaking of insane, it was a clear black night, a clear white moon.
Warren G was on the streets trying to consume.
Right, some skirts for the eve, so can I get some? So, right, we're talking about the classic Regulate by Warren G and Nate Dogg. And it's one of those, there's a concept with the lyrics, especially, and the idea is that don't read them. Like, don't ever do that, because you'll ruin your favorite song for yourself.
Right.
Right. So, but I think that'll be fun to, like, because we're all about analysis. It seems like this episode, we're checking out Charlie Sheen, checking out the Bible. Now we're checking out Warren G.
Well, I mean, also the other thing is that particular rip that they got from Michael McDonald and something else. They used something else I can't remember, but it's it's a good hook, you know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, talking about awesome music, you can't go wrong with Michael McDonald. I mean, come on. Where did that...
I'm not in love anymore. I mean, what if I just talk like this all the time? You know? What if I came home and said things like this? Oh, my dishes are dirty. Oh, I don't like it, yeah.
Anyway. No, right. Like, it makes I've never heard him speak, so perhaps that is the case. Maybe he just sings everything. Michael McDonald. He just sings everything. So
okay, I'm going to go out I'm going to the corner shop. Gotta get you some milk. Gotta get some milk for my coffee. Yeah. Bye. Can drive my car. Yeah.
Right. But he's not on this track. But
no. Well, he is on the radio version of it.
Does he keep
He's
forgetting?
not in the original. Yeah, because they put that loop into it on the radio version of it when they would play it on.
Maybe they have the
when they would. Yeah, but they would only. I can't forget the love anymore. Anyway, so.
This is way better than the Bible.
Oh, it's so much better. Why did we do the Bible? The Bible was so boring. Oh my God. Anyway,
because you need a little salt with your sugar. That's why.
Yeah, but there's no Michael McDonald in the Bible. This is like the greatest thing ever.
Michael McDonald should play God in the new reboot of the Bible.
Yeah, Jacob, you beat me, but now I'm going to dislocate your leg. Yeah. Now I'm going to bless you. You let me go. Yeah.
Let's get back to what's going on with Warren G and Nate Dogg. No, it's fine.
Yes, sorry.
Because that was important because that is actually a reference because, right, the music is that song.
Yeah.
So, all right, so what's going on? Warren G is rolling in his ride, chilling all alone. Sounds pretty relaxing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just hit the east side of the LBC.
But the thing is that Warren G does fuck up, right? Because Warren G goes out and he starts to gamble with these guys who aren't really cool, right?
Right, and because there's two parallel stories going on. Right, Warren's driving around.
Yeah.
Nate Dogg, he's trying to find Warren G because he just saw a car full of girls. And they know what's up. They know what's up with 213. Like the girls know.
Yes,
so
they know.
He's like,
you don't have to say shit. He's in. Yeah.
So he's like, Warren G, where are you? Because cell phones weren't a thing yet.
Yeah.
So he's driving around trying to find him, and Warren driving around. I don't know what the fuck he's driving. He's just driving, I think. So foolishly, he hooks a left on 21 and Lewis. Why would anyone do that? I don't know. So and he sees some brothers shooting dice. So he says, let's do this. Jumps out of his car and says, what's up?
Yeah.
And immediately, hey man, throwing dice. And some brothers pulled some gats. So I said, I'm stuck. Right away, no defense at all.
Yeah. Yeah. This bitch can't
cool.
fight. He's just kind of just standing there with these guys. And he shouldn't have been there anyway, clearly. I mean, this is a bad part of town. There's some bad things going on.
Of course, 21 and Lewis, come on.
Mm-hmm.
The LBC, there's absolutely no reason to make that left.
Yeah.
So then you switch back. We switch back to Nate Dogg. And he's just gliding and swerving down the street in his car. And he sees another car, the hookers,
Yeah.
They're looking at it. They're looking at him so hard. They straight hit the curb.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they're not even looking where they're going. It's like, oh, come on. But luckily for everybody involved, except the brothers with the Gats, they're managed to find themselves in the same place. And Nate Dogg sees his homie and some suckers all in his mix. So
yeah.
Right. Nate Dogg is so damn good looking that a car full of girls overcome with desire to lose control of their vehicle, crash into a large pile of garbage. And I don't know, is that a bigger and better thing than getting into a fight? Or
I'd rather have that happen than have guns pulled on me after gambling someone in the street, you know, or gambling with people in the street that I don't know.
I mean, is getting into a gang fight a bigger and better thing than having some good old-fashioned sex with a bunch of hookers? Like, it's debatable.
Right.
So Warren's, he's getting jacked. He's breaking himself.
Yeah.
And
he's breaking himself.
Now he starts referring to himself in the third person. I can't believe they're taking Warren's wealth. They took my rings. They took my Rolex. I looked at the brothers and said, damn, what's next? So, I just have to say that Warren G doesn't really come off very well in this song.
No.
So far, he's blundered into a large group of unsavory men without any available assistance.
And he's breaking himself, which could mean multiple things, meaning like he could be like crying and begging. He could be like being a bitch on his knees while they're taking all his shit. He could be like, you know, pissing himself. Like that could be breaking. You know, we don't know.
I think he may have soiled himself in fear. And all he can do is say, I'm stuck. So,
yeah.
But, you know, he's just being I don't know what, I mean, look, I can't blame him for being in fear because that would be a really scary situation.
Yeah.
But he got himself into it by jumping out of the car in the first place, like trying to interrupt some guy's dice game. Like, what's up?
Yeah.
Like, oh, really? Here's guns in your face. So like we.
But Nate Dogg's also smarter. Like, I mean, sorry, jumping ahead. Nate Dogg is a bit smarter because he's gonna think of better things than some horny tricks. You know?
Right.
Right.
Well, Nate Dogg comes to the rescue immediately. Like,
yeah.
They just luckily they happen to be in the same place because, I mean, he sees his homie hemmed up and they're all around. And ain't none of them seeing if they're going straight pound for pound. They're not trying to fight. They're just going to shoot him. And they want to come up real quick before they start to clown. So Nate Dogg, he decides that he best pull out his strap and lay them busters down.
Yeah.
So Nate Dogg to the rescue. I'm not really sure what the two middle lines mean here. But I'm sure they don't involve Warren G doing anything interesting.
No. Because he's not really interesting. He's kind of a bitch. But Nate Dogg's cool as fuck.
Well, they got guns to my head. I think I'm going down. I can't believe this happening in my own town. Like, do something. Oh,
wait. Hold on.
Here's what he does.
You can't believe on 2-1 in Lewis after you're gambling with some guys. No, wait. With some. What does Nate Dogg refer to them as? Busters? And he also he refers to them as suckers.
That's right.
Some suckers all in his mix. Okay, so you're telling me that you can't believe this is happening in your own town, in your hometown.
Doesn't he know where he lives?
Doesn't he know where he's at? Like, I'd never be caught out there doing that. Fool.
Never. Right. So what does he do? He basically gives like a little Shakespearean pre-death soliloquy. Right? Like, he says, if I had wings, I would fly. Let me contemplate. I glance in the cut and I see my homie Nate.
Oh, yes.
The machine of God, Nate Dogg. Right? Like, what?
Yeah.
So, luckily for Warren G, Nate Dogg doesn't waste any time whatsoever. He's got 16 in the clip and one in the hole already, like ready to go. And he's ready to make some bodies turn cold. Now they're dropping and yelling. It's a tad bit late. And I take exception with this next line. Nate Dogg and Warren G had to regulate. No, Nate Dogg had to regulate. I mean, I didn't notice Warren doing much regulating at all.
No.
So Nate Dogg had to lay them busters down. He let his gap explode. And this is how cool he is. I mean, truly, this is how, rest in peace, Nate Dogg, by the way.
Yeah, man.
Immediately after he let his gat explode, he immediately switches his mind back into freak mode.
I know. It's like
without any
no trauma. You know, you've just killed some guys and you've made them drop and yell, you know, and
right.
basically walked up to them and probably finished them off. You know, because he laid all them busters down. He got all of them down. So that 16 in the clip got all of them. But he's right into freak mode again.
If I had a superpower, it would be the ability to switch my mind into freak mode at a moment's notice.
Oh, man, it would be so cool, man. Just switch it right on, freak mode.
And
right,
not
Mike?
Not only that, but he's a great friend. Because right after he kills everybody, he explains to his friend Warren G that if you want skirts,
sit back and observe.
I just left a gang of hoes over there on the curb, the ones that crashed into the garbage.
Wait, does your lyric say a gang of hoes?
Yeah.
Because mine says a gang of those over there on the curb. Interesting.
Well,
I just left
hoes.
the gang of those. Yeah.
But
Anyway.
Here's what it really comes down to. We don't love them hoes. Or those hoes, for that matter.
No.
I mean, this is all about freak mode at this point.
And now, like this next line by Warren G is like praising Nate again, like saying he's got all the girls. You know, now Nate got the freaks and that's a known fact.
But I got jacked. But before I got jacked, I was on the same track.
I was thinking of girls before that. Yeah, I don't think so. I think he was thinking of trying to get money and gamble.
Well, I'm impressed though by the hoes because they're just over there on the curb and they are not fazed whatsoever. I mean,
with the fact that a bunch of guys just got shot? Yeah.
Massive killing spree. So they're waiting. So, because look, they hit the curb because they couldn't take their eyes off of Nate Dogg in the first place.
Yeah.
So they're just waiting around so he can ravish them now. And he can bring his friend Warren G too if he wants, I guess.
Yes. Which I think he's going to do because Warren G's kind of like Snoop Dogg's little cousin. And that's kind of the way it works.
Right. But the idea that he was on the same track, right. Like, you were going to call your girlfriend that you met at summer camp who was in Canada. Or something weird like that. Like, he wasn't... Back up, because it's on. N-A-T-E.
N-A-T-E, me, the Warren to the G.
Warren to the G. I wonder if in high school Warren G sat in his class and doodled N-A-T-E and me inside a big heart in his biology notebook.
Who? Anyway, getting on. Nate Dogg.
Well, okay, so he saves Warren G. He's like, the hoes over there.
Yeah.
And he kind of just, I guess reiterates to himself that, just like I thought, they were in the same spot.
They were in the same spot.
They're bad bitches. Like, they're not going to run away just because of some, gunplay. In need of some desperate help. I mean, their car is disabled, I suppose, from hitting the curb.
Yeah.
The Nate
It's
Dogg
funny here.
child,
It's actually but it's interesting because he's actually calling Warren G a child.
Well, you know, he behaved like a child, like impulsive.
He certainly did. Fuck, I'd leave him. Fuck him. I get the hose.
You know,
Huh.
so they get in the car, and you know, one of the hosts compliments Nate Dogg singing. Oh, and you know, they get in. Wait, so one of the girls compliments him, but they all get in.
Yeah, they don't get in yet, no. But now but after they have this exchange between Sexy and Hell and him, that's basically, you know, ooh, I like your size, and, well, okay, my car's broke down and you seem real nice, would you let me ride?
Yeah.
Then they got a car full of girls.
Right,
and it's going swell. Yep. And the next stop is the East Side Motel, which I'm sure is ridden with bed bugs and full of, but I'm sure the girls are familiar with it, so it's homey, you know, so they can probably get off too.
You know, the East Side Motel is a ways away. It's actually right in downtown Los Angeles. Like,
Oh, wow.
I don't know why they'd be driving all that way.
Have you been to the East Side Motel?
I have not been to the East Side Motel. I just looked it up. Actually, there's no such thing.
No.
No, there's not really.
I wonder if there was in 1994, though.
Perhaps. So, okay, so let's wrap it up. I just want to summarize kind of what we're looking at in this, like, critical analysis of Regulate.
Yeah.
Warren G and Nate Dogg. So, the final tally of things that each main character did during the course of the song was, okay, Nate Dogg, he drove around, he caused girls to lose control of their motor vehicle because of his raw sexuality, found his friend Warren, killed several men, seduced a group of women into getting into his car and driving to a motel to have sex. Like, that's his story.
Yes.
Wow. Warren G drove around, got mugged because of his own stupidity, cowered in fear, crapped his pants, stood around and watched Nate Dogg save his ass, stood around some more while Nate Dogg picked up women, and probably went home to watch he probably went home to wash his ass and watch the Fresh Prince or something.
Yes. That's the end of the story. It's a wonderful story.
It's a wonderful story, and I think that maybe ultimately Nate Dogg should have gotten the credit. That
yes.
Maybe his name should have been first in the song. Yeah,
I agree.
So that's it. That's
yeah.
Wow.
Episode 13.
That was quite an adventure.
Yes.
Episode 13, and later on, I'll be doing another special edition that has nothing to do with what we talked about. I'll be interviewing a gentleman by the name of Bill Boyles. He's basically a children's advocate, I guess you could say. I think that's basically.
I'll say
for now, but yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to sit down and have a talk about what's going on in the troubled teen industry and what people can do to help these kids who have found themselves through no fault of their own in some really bad and desperate situations that they can't get out of because they don't have quote unquote rights, essentially. Yeah. Wow, way to end the show on a happy note there, pal.
Hey, pal.
No, but it's important to
no, it really is.
To not just have some fun, but to get some real serious knowledge out there about what's going on in the world, especially when it involves children. And I figured it was a really good time considering everything that's going on with kids at the border and stuff. I mean, if we care so much about young immigrant children being torn away from their families through no fault of their own, kidnapped basically by the state, we should care and know about our kids being torn and ripped away from their families by private entities who are in, to use a popular word these days, collusion with the state. And I mean, it's one of those things that it's happening all around us, and no one seems to be very aware of it. So we're going to get the word out.
And on a personal note, Marcus, because of my path, I am very thankful that you're doing this. So thank you very much, and thank you for being open to doing it. It means a lot to me.
Oh, of course. Of course. All right. Well, that's it. The V2V podcast with Shorts and Aurelius, episode 13, is in the books.
All right,
see you next time.
Bye. Bye.